In today's video, I'm sharing with you what's on my Google Pixel 10 Pro. Let's get right into it. Hello friends, welcome back to another Google Pixel video. I am so glad that you're enjoying these videos so far. I'm going to try my best to get to all of the questions that you have, and one of the biggest questions that I always get every single time I get a brand new Google Pixel device is to share what is on my phone. So that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video. I'm going to share my screen and go through all of the different things that are on my Google Pixel 10 Pro, and hopefully it will be helpful. I know you all like to see the actual screen on the screen so you can see how things look in terms of display and how things move quickly and stuff like that. So hopefully this video will be helpful, in addition to being interesting if you are curious as to how I set my phone up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, so this is my main screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see my lock screen here, but I'm gonna start here. And by the way, I have the Google Pixel 10 Pro, like I said, I have it in the color Jade, and the gigs are like 256 gigs. So starting from here, this is my lock screen, and as you can see, my background is like this really lovely autumnal photo that I actually took last year using my Google Pixel 9 Pro. This is like somewhere in upstate New York. It was like a tiny cute cabin, and they decorated it for autumn because we went in October. So that is my background for the fall season, and as you can see, the time is really nice and customized with colors that are being pulled from the image, and I'll show you that once I actually unlock my screen and go into the settings. But it has like this really cool bubbly text, and it has like browns and oranges and stuff like that. Very, very autumnal, and as you can see, it's pretty basic on my actual lock screen. So let me unlock my screen now and get into the stuff that's actually in the phone. And again, the wallpaper in the back, you can probably tell that it's quite autumnal. It's a bunch of pumpkins, another picture that I took, I believe, with my Google Pixel 9 Pro as well. And you can see all of the accent colors on my widgets are like a nice brown orange color. Again, this is all being pulled from the images, and the Google is kind of just customizing the color palette based off of my wallpapers. Now, how you are able to do this is if you hold onto like a blank space on the home screen, this little pop-up will show up, and you can go into wallpaper and style, widgets, all of that stuff. But I'm going to click into wallpaper and style. And this is where you can, change and customize colors and stuff like that. So as you can see, this is my home screen, this is my lock screen. You can toggle between the two. And then once you scroll down, you can change the colors. So you can change the color palette. You can see that there's blue, and it's auto-suggesting these colors based off of the wallpaper. You can also just go ahead and pick whatever color you want if you don't want to go to match the background. And then you can also do color contrast, which is high, medium, and default. It just does this, again, auto, based off of the colors that are being pulled. And then you can change the icons. You can do themed icons, which some of these icons are not like the official icons of the app. So they're themed, but if you don't want to do that, you can go with the official icon, as you can see when I just toggled it there. I like everything to be pretty cohesive as much as possible, so I like the themed icons. And then you can change the layout to have much less space on the screen and have much bigger widgets or much bigger icons. I like mine as small as possible, obviously, so that's how I have everything set up there. So that is all of the wallpaper and customizations. There are more customizations coming, I'm pretty sure. Waiting for an update to possibly figure that out, because I haven't gotten it yet and I forgot what it's called, but I'm sure you all will remember in the comment section. But let's start from the very far left over here, and then I will go through all of my home screens and then show you some cool apps that are new to the Google Pixel 10 Pro. So starting on the very far left, as you can see here, this is kind of like a news feed. This is like a Google Home news feed, and you can toggle this off. You can completely remove this from your phone if you want to, but I personally like it. I think it's really helpful and useful. I do use it on the daily. And so here at the top, this little section with little blocks here will show me relevant information based off of my interests. And if you go all the way to the corner over here, you can manage your interests, you can manage your topics and all of that stuff so that you can customize this top space specifically. And it will start to trickle down into what you see here in the newsfeed as well. But as you can see, I have some movie screenings, I have the weather, I have air quality, I have some games. Usually it shows me football games because I'm more interested in the NFL, but it's showing me a baseball game, probably because of my proximity to New York. And then you can see that there are news articles here. One thing that I've noticed that changed in this feed here is that there are also some ads, and they tend to be very, very curated based off of my interests. So they tend to not be like ads that don't make sense. But there are also some social feeds that pull here, or social tweets, social posts, stuff like that. Let's see if I can show you an example. I'm not seeing one right now, but the other day I did see like a tweet from, oh, this is pretty cool, kind of like a summary of one single article here. But I did see like a tweet from the New York Giants or something like that. So it is more customized than it was before. If you are interested in testing out this Google Home feed, again, I personally really, really like it. And I get a lot of my news articles from here. You can also like things, by the way. And the more that you like, the more that the feed will curate based off of what you say that you like. But moving on to my main home screen, this is my main one, the one that opens up to when I unlock my phone. And as you can see, there's a good mixture of apps and widgets happening here. So at the very, very top, you can see the date, you can see the weather. That is just something that is displayed at the very top, and you can change that. You can adjust that if you want, but I like it. I actually tap into these things. If I tap onto the date, it will open up Google Calendar. If I tap into the weather, it will open the weather app, of course, and I do use those on a daily basis, so I find it to be very useful. Right underneath it over here, this is the Pinterest widget. And when I hold down on a widget, it will kind of hover and do this. And there's like little balls at the top and bottom of it. This just means that you can customize it. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, of course, depending on how much space is on the screen, but it is customizable. And I have my Pinterest widget set up to circulate through my 2025 mood board on a daily basis. So every day when I open up my phone, it will show me a new set of images from my mood board, specifically in Pinterest. I just like it that way. You can also do it like in hourly refresh intervals, whatever you want to do, but I like to have my mood board right at the top, and I change it on a daily basis rather than more frequently so it doesn't kill my battery. And then the widget underneath it right here, that is Google Arts and Culture. I like to have that there. Again, you can adjust it, but I like to have that there so that I can see a new piece of art every single morning. You can tap into it and then learn more about the art piece. And I have this set up for like a daily interval, so it changes every day as opposed to more frequently. And I just really love the Google Arts and Culture app, so there's that. And then I have some folders and apps all around the place. You can see I have the Messages app, I have folders for social media, for wellness, for home security, photos, stuff like that. And these three over here, like on the far right, those are on the home screen, but the ones at the bottom, as you can see, if I move from homepage to homepage, things don't really change there. Those are like my static apps that are always there because those are my most used ones. On the far left, I have WhatsApp. Next to it, again, I have a folder of bunch of photo and video editing apps, all of those things. That's like the one folder that I use most frequently. Then I have Gmail, then I have Google Chrome, and then I have my security, home security, cameras, neighbors app, all of those things. Just things that I want to have super handy and really easy to click into on a daily basis. And then I will swipe over. Oh, by the way, at the bottom, in addition to those static apps, right underneath it, you can see kind of like a Google search bar. That's exactly what it is. It's a Google search bar. It has like the little mic so that you can search with like talking to it. You can also do Lens. That's right next to the mic. And Lens is essentially you like pointing your camera at something and having Google search what it sees based off of the image that you capture. And then all the way on the far right is Gemini, which is like their AI embedded system in here. It's kind of like their advanced version of Assistant. Assistant has always been kind of like AI, but Gemini is obviously much more reminiscent of the AI that we're all familiar with these days. But swiping over to my next home screen on the right, this is just a screen of just widgets. And the widget on the far left top here, that is Google Calendar. Again, you can adjust this, you can customize this, and I have the Google Calendar widget set to like a schedule base, schedule view, if you will. just so that I can scroll through and see things on a schedule basis. That will make more sense once I swipe over to the next home screen. But yeah, that is just my schedule there. And then right next to it, this widget over here, that is Google Keep. And you can clearly see I have a bunch of different random to-do lists in there, and that's exactly why I have it there. I like to tap into my to-do lists and have them very easy to check out. Also, when I'm out and about, you can see I have like a weekend to-do list. I can just look at it here instead of opening Google Keep. I can just like swipe over to this little widget and it works just fine there. And then the widget below it, which takes up half the screen, that is Notion, if you couldn't tell. I love Notion. I have so many things in my Notion, and I have it set to show me recent boards that I have recently gone into, so that I can very quickly and easily tap into it and access my recent and frequently used Notion boards. Just all super productivity based kinds of things here, things that I want to be able to tap into really easily without having to go through a million different steps to get to them. And then the final home screen that I have here on the far right, this is again another giant widget. It's literally just one giant widget, and this is Google Calendar. So I was mentioning to you that I have this schedule thing here for Google Calendar. I have another widget that is also Google Calendar, but this is a calendar view. And the reason why I have two widgets of the same app is because I like the schedule to be able to scroll through really easily and see things on a daily basis, but I also like to have a huge calendar just set up on my phone screen so that I can see my month as a whole. One, to see how busy I am in that particular month. Two, because whenever I'm out and about and I'm planning things with friends, I can really easily, quickly look at this calendar and see if I'm free on a particular date. It just makes things much more convenient, and you all know that I love convenience, and so I think my home screens are set up to be as convenient and aesthetic and helpful as possible for me personally. Now, those are all of my home screens. I did also want to share with you a couple of new apps that are available on the Google Pixel 10 Pro, and some of them might be coming to older versions. I'm not too sure about the older versions. I don't keep up with the older versions once I get the new one, but as you can see, I have a lot of apps. I'm not going through all of them. I did want to just show you, let's see, where is it? Journal. So this, and it is locked behind like your face unlock because it's supposed to be really private. It's supposed to be a journal, of course. And this is essentially just a digital journal. You can journal whatever you want in it. You can log whatever you want in it. You can keep track of whatever. As you saw when I opened the app, it had some like Fitbit stuff at the bottom as suggestions to start a journal entry. So you can journal truly whatever you want, but I like that there are kind of like smart tools to give you suggestions, a jumping off point. There are some customizations on the top over here, font and color. You can add different things. It reminds me of Google Keep in that sense, but it's not very like to-do list based. It's again more of like a diary entry, a journal entry, some kind of log. I don't really journal on a digital basis, so I don't know if I'll actually be using this, but I do think it's pretty cool to have it all in here, and I do like the privacy settings of having it locked behind like your screen unlock, if that makes sense. So again, this is like a journal entry kind of thing, and I just also wanted to show you the insights part of this journal app. I assume that once you start tracking things and logging things, it will be able to use smart features to give you insights into what you've written or logged in here, which is really, really cool. I find this to be something really helpful for like, I don't know, health and wellness, and then you'll be able to get insights from your health and wellness habits. So I don't know, that's just one example that I can possibly think of aside from like an actual diary or I don't know. I don't know what else you could use it for. If you have any ideas for that or any ideas or any use cases for you actually using the journal app, let me know. But another app I wanted to share with you is, of course, My Pixel. This is like a newer version or an updated version of Pixel Tips on the other phones, and I'm pretty sure it has updated on the older phones to be called My Pixel. But this is kind of like a hub to do troubleshooting, shopping, and also find tips and tricks for your Pixel device. I think this is a fantastic space for people who are just getting started with Pixel devices. There's also some kind of supports system here so you can troubleshoot and what have you. So I just think it's a really nice hub, and I think it's smart that they went in this direction with this app because it will really help people who are kind of converting from other kinds of phones and showcases there to the Pixel devices. So that's another app I wanted to share with you. And then I think there's one more. There's Notebook LM. This one is interesting, and I would love to give this a test out for me personally. Notebook LM seems to be like I don't know what you would actually call it. It's almost like an AI space. I think it is definitely an AI space. But you can add sources and databases into here, and from there you can create like robust notebooks, like dedicated notebooks with information being pulled, research, stuff like that. I think of this in the term of or related to academics. Like I feel like students would really find this to be helpful. Maybe they add a source from like an article they're supposed to read or a textbook excerpt, I don't know, something of the sort. And then the Notebook LM will be able to pull out relevant information, resources. Maybe you can highlight, maybe you can annotate, do all of the things in here and really use it as a studying space. So I'll have to test this out more. If you have experience with this, let me know, especially if you're a student. Let me know if this is really helpful to you. But it seems like it would be super, super helpful for students or academics or those who do a lot of research in general. Okay, and I think that might be the last cool app. There's also the passwords app. Obviously, I'm not going to click into that, but I do like that they made an app, which is essentially just a space for you to be able to quickly access your passwords. And if you're like me, you have a million passwords, you can forget them really easily. So going into that app and just like searching up the place that you're trying to look up for or log into, you can find your password in there because your Google device saves all your passwords in one hub for you. And I think that's it. I know you all have seen Pixel Studio before. This is not new to the Google Pixel 10 Pro. This is kind of like an AI studio to do images, as you can clearly see. And I think that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And hopefully that was interesting, insightful, helpful to see, especially the speed between me switching over from screens and just how the processing works, as well as how the display looks. I think it looks really crisp, it looks really clean, and it runs super, super smooth and fast. I think a little bit faster than the Google Pixel 9 Pro. I had noticed a significant difference when I switched from one phone to the next. But yeah, I also hope that it was interesting to see how I lay things out and the widgets and stuff like that. So if you have any questions for me, definitely let me know in the comment section. Of course, I am always monitoring the comment section and looking out for any questions that you have that I can possibly do full-length videos on. So please, please, please feel free to send whatever you want down there, whether it's about the Google Pixel 10 Pro in particular or the Google Pixel devices in general. And I'll talk to you in the next video.